Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're great. As you know, I am Julieta and I will talk about St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow. I will explain the most important facts, the most important information, and at the end, I will share with you my point of view. I would like to mention that before St. Basil's Cathedral was built, it is unknown what exactly was in this place. The Catedral of the Intersection of the Virgin, in Spanish, la Catedral de la Intersección de la Virgen junto al Foso, better known as St. Basil's Cathedral, is an Orthodox temple located in the Red Square in Moscow, which is world famous for its complicated and extravagant appearance and book-shaped domes. Some Russian manuscripts contains insolent and contradictory mentions about some wooden and stone church, which gave rise to countless assumptions, versions, and myths. According to one of these versions, after the return of Ivan the Terrible from his military campaign against the Kazan Khanate in 1552, the main reason for building Saint Basil's was to commemorate the conquest of Kazan, the Muslim capital in southern Russia, heir to the golden horde of the Tatars, which for almost 200 years had held Christian Russia in subjection. St. Basil's Cathedral was built in the mid-16th century by order of the Tsar Ivan the Terrible. For him, it was pretty important to emphasize to the whole Christian world the role of Moscow in the defense and expansion of the fight. The religious symbol of Kazan was the Kolsharif Mosque, which was wiped off the face of the earth by the trumps of the terrible. Okay. He ordered to found on the site of the future cathedral a wooden church with 7 side altars in honor of the Holy Trinity. The Metropolitan of Moscow, Macarius, advised to the Tsar to have a stone cathedral built of the same seed and also devised to the composition of the future cathedral. Its construction took 6 years and progressed only during the hot season. Okay, the manuscript mentioned a miraculous apparition to the architects of the 5 altar of the cathedral after the work was nearly completion. The symmetrical organization is evidence that the authors have planned from the beginning to build 8 side altars around the central church. The cathedral was built in brick and the foundations, the plinth and some elements of decoration were made of white stone. Despite popular belief, St. Basil's Cathedral is neither the seat of the Orthodox Patriarch of Moscow nor the main cathedral of the Russian capital. In both cases, is the Cathedral of Christ the Savior or Cristo el Salvador. Okay, the cathedral has 10 towers, all different of Byzantine influence. Inside, it is painted in its entirety as an old Russian tradition. Okay. Its architectural style is unique and has no parallel in the history of architecture in Russia. St. Basil's Cathedral predates Mexico City Metropolitan Cathedral by only 13 years, although they are completely different styles. Here is the Cathedral of Mexico. Its eight domes surrounding the central spire form on the plane to superimposed square reminiscent of an 8-point star. The 8 is the number symbolizing the eighth day, the day of Christ's resurrection, and the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of the 8th century, or the eighth kingdom, and that will come after the second coming of Christ, after the end of after the end of early history. The square represents the firmness and constancy of light and symbolizes the cosmos. Okay, the 8-point star also reminds us of the start of the Bethlehem that showed the magic way to the child God, Savior of the world, and symbolizes the whole Christian church as a guiding start in human life toward the heavenly Jerusalem. The 8-point star is also the symbol of the Mother of God, the Queen of the Church, and the Queen of the heaven. And finally, the other altars were dedicated to the saints on whose days of veneration most important events of the campaign against the Kazan Khanate took place. So that's the most important information, the most important facts. And finally, the cathedral retained its original appearance until 1588, when the then church was built next to it on the eastern side, erect over the tomb of Saint Basil, who had spent much time contemplating the work and asked to be buried next to it. The famous Muscovite, to whom numerous miracles were attributed, died in 1557, and after his canonization, Tsar Ivanovich, yes, son of Ivan the Terrible, ordered the church to be built. And finally, the name of the church was extended to the whole cathedral, becoming its popular denomination, the Cathedral of Saint Basil. And well, yeah, from my point of view, this information is interesting and complex. There was a lot of information that I didn't know. Obviously, I knew about the cathedral, but now I understand the history a little more. That's all. And if you have questions, let me know.